traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. This one is coming out a little bit on the later side, but I'm getting it out nevertheless. It is the 14th, Monday the 14th. The good news here today is that we came in, we followed our rules, we were disciplined, and we did walk away green, although it was a hard-fought day, only $30 in the green. With some of the short trades I took today, I'm probably not that big in the green versus, the fees. Probably paid like $20 in fees today. I wouldn't be surprised. But green is good, and I'll take it. So, TBLT, ARDX, PDSB, those were the three of the stocks that I traded. PDSB, this one we're green at 132, and it actually came from a short entry. Very crazy trade here. I should have took it with more size like I planned to. I would have felt very good if I had took the 1,000 shares I wanted. 500 shares, just, it was a good trade, but wasn't enough. But with that being said, there was a lot of risk involved, and so I didn't want to go crazy, especially for the first trade of the day. But anyhows, volume, right? In the Q&A yesterday, the study session yesterday, we spoke about volume. So pay attention to our volume profile here as we're going down, right here. Pay attention now to our volume profile as we're going up. Very light volume going up compared to the volume going down. And so I thought, man, this thing looks good to reject and fall off. And so I got short at VWAP at 80. I wanted to add at 90 if it rejected the level. It did. It's going to go here to a high of 92 and reject. I didn't add, but then it flushes down. We had a low of 45. I came out at 55. Great trade. First trade of the day was an excellent opportunity, and I nailed it. Now, ARDX. This is where things kind of get a little tricky. So this thing is moving up, and I thought it was pretty strong. I thought it was pretty strong. We had high of 160 initially. It pushes to 62, 67, 72. And so as it dips down here and goes, I get involved, and I believe I made like $90. Didn't really get to, do very well, but $90. And I started to wait for the pullback. Waited for the pullback over here, and was buying low, but it just kept going lower. Kept going lower. And so I was giving back, right? So we ended up having a low of 69. Let's see. I don't remember how low I got in here. I was in... Is it not going to show? Okay, there we go. I was in, let's see. I bought at 74, 75. Stopped out of that trade. Oh yeah, this flushed down. Okay, so initially we had a low of 74. So I'm like, okay, it might be holding very high, right? High of the day was at 85. So I thought 74 from 85 was pretty decent. But it was extended, right? Because we went from 60 to a high of 85, right? Very aggressive move. 25 cents. Now, the 10-cent drop-off came, and now I'm not measuring this drop-off. I'm like, okay, we went up 20 cents. The pullback should be 10 cents. That's not how I'm doing it. I'm looking at level 2, and I felt like 74 double bottom was looking good. I'm in 5,000 shares, and it flushes to 69. I'm like, nope. But, it's one of those things where if I'm not long at 74 and I'm watching for it to go lower, I would have probably been in 5,000 at 70, 71. Instead of having this losing trade. So, the fine line as usual between being green and being red. And this loss basically was the loss that put me down a good amount. Because this is 6 cents on 5,000 shares. Which is essentially, $300. As you'll see, I was never able to recover. As mentioned, I was slightly green as well. So, that wasn't good. Maybe I was green like $50 before the trade. I can't really remember exactly. But anyhows, tried scalping my way back, and just wasn't able to get it done, man. It just was not able to get it done. The scalp trades weren't so good. Traded the second pullback over here, kept buying lower. I did make money in one of these trades somewhere, but buying lower for the bounce, and it just was not bouncing. I'm like, you know what? I gotta give up on this thing right here. I took my last loss of 5,000 shares, losing about 1 cent, $50. I'm like, you know what? That's it. This thing is not bouncing now. If you look at the volume profile here, our green volume going up was much better than our red volume coming down. But the problem this stock had was the topping wicks. Topping wicks on the 5-minute charting. Now, I got these two bubbles drawn out up here. Let's zoom out a little bit. I got these two bubbles. We can zoom in over here as well. These two bubbles are representing, and we can remove the show trades future here. These two bubbles are representing the high points of these 5-minute candles. And if you look on this 1-minute charting, 3-minute charting as well, you'll see that we were actually looking pretty clean. But the 5-minute candle started to pull back with just a few minutes left, or let's say 1 minute, right? Because there's 5 1-minute candles for every one 5-minute candle that we have. And when the 5-minute candle pulls back in the 4th minute, we only have 1 more minute to go. So if we pull back here and we drop down, we're going to then show this topping wick. And that's essentially what, kind of happened. So we came up nicely. We go into 940 here, and we start to get this 1 minute pullback. And on the 5-minute, we're not looking so good. Likewise, again, the candle starts at 45. We push up 1, 2, 3 minutes into the candle. With just 2 minutes left, we start to see the 1 minute pullback again. And so I'm not expecting this to just go all the way down like it did. I mean, it never bounced. I mean, just look at this. It's why, of course, respecting the stop is always good. Because despite the volume looking good, it never bounced. And so, as mentioned, I thought that we were looking all right despite these stopping wicks, because the candles just sort of pulled back in a weird time frame with a few minutes left to go on the 5-minute interval. So yeah, ARDX, unfortunate. As mentioned, if we were to be long at 5,000 shares, and that's the difference. It's such a small difference. This trade here was a huge game changer, because if I didn't buy here and I was in on this candle, I would have been in low enough to hold 5,000 through and through, and maybe I would have been selling at 82 and then maybe even 86, which would have given me like $500. It makes a huge difference on a day. In fact, if that trade connects, high chance we're finishing up over $400 or $500 today. High chance. TBLT. This one I would say was the best stock of the day, but it was not easy. And we had some talks today in the Discord about holding even longer, 30, 40 minutes at a time, hours at a time, and how well that would play out on stocks like this that just continue higher all day long. So TBLT, as you'll see, it was stepping up, breakout, pullback, breakout, pullback, breakout, pullback, breakout, pullback, breakout, pullback. This was pretty impressive, but watching price action, it was awful. Well, let's say after the first 30 minutes, 40 minutes, first hour of trading, it became very difficult, I felt. From my perspective and how I'm viewing the scalp trades, how I'm viewing the pullback trades. To start the day, it's a little sideways, it's a little choppy, and we first had entries at 72 right here as it started to curl up. So right over here is where I would have been watching it. So I don't remember 953. Let's go ahead and put on those show trades again. See, it doesn't even look like I was aware of it over here. So I might, or maybe I was and I wasn't comfortable getting in. But it does go to 77, 85, and then it looks like I bought 78 and 80 trying to get the pullback on the bottoming wick. And these trades were good trades, but the way how level 2 was moving, it was hard to tell if we're going to keep dropping or not. And so I was quick to sell to try to get back in lower You know, and thinking, okay, maybe this actually goes instead of low 76, maybe it comes down to a low of like 72, 73, and then bounce. But we did hold, and I sold too soon, so I missed out on these two good trades. You know, likewise with over here, I'm in at 75. This time it doesn't bounce until 73. And let's see, so I'm in here. It looks like I sold. Yeah, it looks like I got back out of that one early, and then it curled back up. So I had a good trade in here. 50, and you know, of course, at this point, I'm thinking, okay, how low is it gonna go again, right? We had a low of 73. I thought potentially it could have broke down below VWAP and reclaim. That didn't happen. So what I was planning on doing here was going in with small size 73 and then adding if it was gonna break below either 71 or 70. Can't remember exactly. It seems like VWAP might have been 72, so maybe I was watching for break below 72 and reclaim. But I wasn't comfortable going in with size because I thought maybe it could have pulled back lower and I didn't want to get chopped out of the trade. But this ends up being a pretty decent win. So I'm selling at 77, 79, and 82. This type of trade here, I need size. Need size on this trade. You know, we sold it for a good amount, and it's just a shame that we didn't have size. You know, if we would have sold 2,000 at 77, and then another 1,000 at 79, and then another 1,000 at 82, that's when you're really talking business. Then it rips up. I take a scalp trade in at 87 out at 89, and you know, we saw some gains, right? I did attempt a few scalps, they weren't worth it. Break of 3, for example, right here wasn't worth it. It wasn't quite strong enough yet. Tried a dip or two here and there, in at 92, out at 94, and took a small loss here. My last trade of the day, which is now worth mentioning at the end of the live stream, right? Because like this is where I came back around 12 o'clock. Because I'm like, okay, my screen is open, then I see this huge green candle. Like, whoa, how's the pullback gonna do? So we'll get to that. But my last trade of the day was this trade here, and I was playing with fire. Shouldn't have done it. I'm long at 315 at the low of this consolidation, and now this is at 1055. So this is right. Where are we? Right here. Hold up. Right here. On this red candle. So, you know, not the best. Not the best trade. Being in so high. 06 was support. And I didn't quite read it as well as I should have been able to avoid, you know, avoid the drop. I thought the volume profile was looking decent. Once again, green volume going up looking good. And so I thought 15 would have been a decent area to buy. You know, 14. We had lows initially at 14, 16, and 14. But, you know, I was playing with fire because this is the first pullback. Well, actually, no, it looks like it might have been the second pullback. 1, 2, maybe borderline 3, I don't know. Because we had this red candle here with a low of 14. So maybe this was the third time. And, you know, you guys know my rule of 3. Should not be buying it on the third time because we could go lower like we did. And I missed the dip at 06. So, yeah, that happened. And, you know, I was up $205 before this trade on the stock, and then I went to now just up like $60 from green 50 on the day to red 90. Tough loss because, as mentioned, we were green on AR PBSD and red 288 on this other one here, ARTX. So between the two stocks that I was green on, I was, you know, edging myself to green on the day by $9. And unfortunately, that loss happened. So that put me back to red. And when I came back, you know, this is what I traded. At first, I was very scalpy. Tried it with some smaller size here. And, you know, at first I used 1,000 shares. Like, okay, let's not overdo it. I went down to 500 and I saw 2 great trades. And then that gave me some good confidence to now size up. So in at 39, out at 41. And then in at 38, which Can't even tell which one this is. In a 38. I don't know. I'll have to go back to the monitor screen maybe. 1234. 1234. Okay, so we went down to 1,000. So we took 1,000 shares. We had essentially a scratch trade, if you want to call it a 1 cent loss. Then we're in at 39. We're out at 41. And then we took a great dip trade. So, broke the ice with small size. And we were still relatively small size. Then we go to 1,500. We're in at 34, out at 39.40. This was a pretty decent trade. Nothing crazy, but, a couple of cents. And from there, I scalped. Definitely took a lot more trades today than some of the other days. But, we did what we had to do. I'd call this squeezing the green. Literally squeezing the green out of the markets. I mean, if we'd ended red, it wouldn't have mattered. But, at least we got some gas money today, right? $30. I don't know, lunch, Burger King, McDonald's, I don't know, some sort of fast food, because this is not going to get us any steak. That's for sure. Or maybe steak at the Outback, right? Here at the Outback. That was poor. Poor accent. Okay. Time 48. 16-minute recap, which is far too long for a slow day like this. So I'm out of here. Take it easy, guys. Stay green. I'm still feeling so tired from earlier today. I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early, 9 a.m. sharp. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe. It's been RT. I am signing out.